back to another episode of Aniview, hosted by yours truly, ashiro.kaguto, aka Manga, aka KBT, aka whatever the fuck you want to call me. And today, you feel me? We got Sword Art Online. Now, I'm not gonna lie, Sword Art Online is one of my favorites. If you watch my channel or like follow my Instagrams or anything, you know that I love Sword Art Online. Sword Art Online, One Piece, Bakuman, and things of that nature. So, here we are reviewing it today. So, we start off seeing my boy Kirito, right? Kirito, he's the MC. Black hair, he's clean with a sword. So basically, he's living with his mom and his sister. I don't know about his dad. I never really saw him in the shows too much, or maybe at all. We do know he does have a grandpa. His grandfather teaches kendo, so that him and his sister do train kendo and you know take up the mantle type shit. So after we see that my man's just tired, he just wants to lay down. So he goes in his room. He goes in his room. He's kind of nonchalant like me. So he goes in his room. And then after he goes into his room, we see the nerve gear. Now, the nerve gear is a headset that brings your mind into virtual reality. So basically, your body will just be standing there and then your mind will travel to the virtual world. So you can play games and shit. And so that you wouldn't hurt yourself. Like if you were fighting somebody, you wouldn't hurt yourself while moving around and shit. So basically, after we see that and he transports into the nerve gear, we see the game SAO, Sword Art Online. Now, Sword Art Online is basically a little fantasy, magical fantasy game, RPG type shit. So you get to create your character and everything. So he's creating his character, he logs in. Now, apparently he's a beta tester, so he does know, like he beta tested the game. So he does know certain things that other players don't know. Most of these players are new. So he gets in there and he's training. He's doing this thing, fighting animals, getting stronger, upgrading, using powered attacks and shit. Then we end up seeing Klein. Now Klein, he's like a red haired dude. You feel me? Doing his thing. His character actually looks different than him. So I'm just gonna describe him how he actually looks. So he's red hair, kind of like he's tallish. You feel me? He uses a katana now, but at first he didn't know what he was doing. So he's over there trying to fight. He's getting his ass beat by a boar. So while he's doing that, he sees Kirito and he's like, "Hey, you mind if you tell me how to do that? That was cold, man." He's like a hippie kind of dude. So he's like, "That was cold, man. Can you teach me how to do that? I haven't been able to do anything. It's just like I can't get the hang of it." So he ends up teaching him. He's like, you got to feel the flow. Like, just close your eyes and feel the attack type shit. So he teaches him how to do the power move and everything. Ends up slashing, killing the boar. He's like, oh my God, thank you. So he's doing that, killing the boar and everything, doing this thing. After that, he's like, appreciate it, bro. Thank you. I'm kind of hungry. I do have a pizza. Sadly, the game doesn't satisfy your real hunger. So he ordered a pizza and he's like, okay, it's about time my pizza got here. Let me log out. He's about to log out. We notice there's no log out button. And I'm like, what the fuck? Now I'm surprised at this point too. There's no log out button. So they're stuck there. And Kirito's like, there's no way. Maybe you're just tweaking. He goes into his thing. He looks for the log out button. He's like, there's no log out button. What the fuck? And their like interactive thing is kind of cool too, because it's like they tap and then they just do the thing on the screen. It's kind of cool. So anyway, there's no log out button. Then, like literally briefly after that, they get transported to the Coliseum, and like all the players, not just them, but every single player in the game, transported to the Coliseum gathering. And then we look up and we end up seeing Akihiko Kayaba as in his avatar form. He's like a big ass blood priest type of thing, blood demon priest thing. So he's telling everybody, he's like, I trapped you in this game. In order to escape, you have to clear all 100 floors, defeat every boss, clear all floors. If you die in the game, if your HP reaches zero, you will die in real life. And that's crazy to me. I ain't gonna lie, that's crazy to me. So he's telling all of them they're gonna die in real life, and I'm sitting here like, what? Because I'm blue at this point. Like, this shit just started. Niggas already on bullshit. So after that, he disappears, right? He disappears, but before he goes, he makes everybody into their real appearance. We see dudes who were girl avatars at first, and they're actually dudes, and we see their real form. We see Kirito and Klein's real faces and everything too. And then the episode fades out from there. So after that, we end up like seeing everybody gather, and they're doing like raids so they can clear the floors. And Kirito is more of a loner, so he's by himself. He says goodbye to Klein and everything, all types of shit. And then after we see him again, we get introduced to a whole bunch of new people, right? It's this blue hair guy. I forgot his name. We're gonna call him Blue. So Blue ends up being more like the captain role, the leader role, and there's a gathering for people who are gonna pair up and become and go to fight the first boss type shit. So as they're pairing up to go fight the first boss, this he kind of his hair kind of reminds me of Brock from Pokemon. So I'm gonna call him Brock. So Brock ends up jumping off of the little seating area that they had, the little stand they had. He jumps off the seating area, and he's like, "Nah, before we do this, I need motherfuckers here to apologize." And he's talking about the beaters, the beta testers. So he's like, "All the beta testers, y'all knew what to do, and y'all didn't share any information. People are out there dying because y'all don't share information." Now, it's crazy because most of the information they know is like just now like not really relevant for the most part unless you're actually like fighting a boss. So other than that, they really don't need to share too much information. And then we see my boy Gabriel. He's this black guy. He's a blacksmith. He uses an axe. He's cold. His favorite color green. All right, so we end up seeing my boy Gabriel. He's like, excuse me, but we don't need them to do that. We don't need them to apologize. None of that, bro. Let's just get this on. So everybody ends up pairing up with each other. They go about their things, and then we see Asuna, and Asuna ends up pairing up with Kirito. So they start walking through this forest and everything. They're on their way, and then we see them later at night. Kirito ends up sitting next to her. He's like, "Did you want you want this bread? Or no, he was like, you know what makes that bread taste better because it's like hard and it doesn't really taste like anything. He I think it's honey or whatever, and he glazed it on her bread and gave it to her, let her eat it, and she like demolished that shit. That was crazy. She ate that shit crazy. She's like, like got rid of that shit. So he's laughing and shit, and then they end up traveling after that to the dungeon. They get to the dungeon. Now they're at the dungeon, and there's I think it's the blue Axcalis or something. I don't know, bro. That thing is like a minotaur. Has like a horse body, hoof, legs. You feel me? Not like a horse body, but like a hoof leg, like if you ever seen Percy Jackson Grover, like his legs. So he got those legs, and then he's blue. He has fur up on his upper, so and then he has like a kind of dog like a canine head, and then it has horns. So it's fighting and everything. It's fighting everybody. They're doing good. They get its HP low, and then it ends up switching up its attack style. And Kirito notices. He's like, "Wait, you need to get out of there. Like, you need to move now, because they didn't know that it was gonna switch up his thing like that. Except for Kirito, he only knew that because he beta tested, and it was a surprise to him too. He didn't know that, so he's yelling like, "Get out of here!" Da, 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 da. And the bro in the blue hair, Mister Blue, he already knew that, so he turns around and smiles at Kirito. He's like, and still goes to fight it and ends up dying. Before he dies, he tells Kirito to take care of them and make sure they get out safe. So he ends up dying, and then Kirito's like, "Asuna, you know how to change? You know how to switch out?" And then she's like, "Nah. Basically, whenever I do a power move, just time it and switch out with me whenever I give the signal," type shit. So they end up going in to fight. They're fucking this nigga up. He's cutting it with his black blade, cutting that nigga up, right? Then he ends up, then he says switch. Asuna comes out, fucking rapier, little fencing thing. I mean, absolutely the doggiest of dog moves that she could ever do. She came out straight hands, bro. I was not disappointed in her showing at all. Come in, fucking him up. I mean, it was crazy. They're going stupid, switching out. They fuck it up, right? And then after it dies, type shit, after they defeat it, leaves behind a cloak. It's called the Dark Cloak. My man Kirito put that shit on. He looked too clean. Put his sword on his back. That nigga was clean than a bitch. After that, after they defeated, he puts the sword on his back. Everybody's look. The dude who was talking the most shit, talking about the beaters and everything. He was like, "Hey, you knew about it and you let him die." Da 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 da. And he's like, "Bro, leave me alone." And then he's like, "You're worse than a beater. You're worse than a beta tester. You're a cheater. You're a beater." And then he was like, "Beater, I like that." So he smiles, walks away, and then he was like, and then Asuna pulls up. She's like, "You said my name before. How did you know that?" And then he was like, "If you look above here, there's a little name tag." Then she reads his name, Kirito, and he's like, "Kirito," and then he's like, "That's my name." And then he walks off in the distance like a fucking dog. All right, then next episode, bro. I ain't gonna lie, shit was crazy, bro. My man Kirito ends up finding, well, not necessarily, but yeah, he ends up finding a guild, the Midnight Black Cats, and they're cool. They're low level. They're like 28 or something, level 20 something or something like that. So they're low level. They're doing their thing. They're trying to level up so they can fight bosses and help clear the dungeon so everybody can escape. So he's fighting and they're fighting and everything. And they see them and he's like they see him and they're like, you look interesting because they're in a tavern. So they're in a tavern right now. So he's getting drunk. He's doing his thing. After that, he sees them and they see him. They walk up to him, ask him like a whole bunch of stuff. They have a little chat, da da da, and then they ask him to join the Midnight Black Cats or the Moonlit Black Cats, one of them. But they ask him to join. Now it's 5 people before, like 5 people, and then Kirito's like 6. So it was a small little group. There was like 2 girls, 2 or 3 girls, and I remember there were like 3 guys. There were 3 guys, and there were like 2 girls. So there were like 5 of them, and then Kirito made 6. So after they join up, they go on raids. Da, da, da. They're having fun doing their thing. He's helping them level up. He's keeping his level, from them. He's hiding it because he thought they wouldn't, want him to join. Otherwise, like if they knew his level was too high, so he's keeping his level from them. They're having fun. Da, 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 da. They end up defeating monsters. They get strong. They get real strong. They doing their thing. Then, out of the fucking blue, Klein shows up. My boy Klein. He ends up seeing him. He's like, "You joined up with a guild? What the fuck? What's up, Kirito?" And then he introduces himself. He has a little samurai guild. They're wearing red and everything. He's kind of clean. I'm not gonna lie, he is cold. So they end up shaking up, talking things out. They go their separate ways. Now, the next day, or maybe like some days after this, I don't know exactly the time frame, but they end up going to a dungeon. Now it's only Kirito, the 2 girls, and then 2 guys. One of the guys didn't go with them because he was doing something in the town. So after that, after bro goes to the town, they go to a dungeon and they end up going into a trap room. And in the trap room, they can't use their crystals to escape, and the crystals basically teleport them back to their home spot or wherever they were last, like a safe spot. Basically, it teleports them there, but it won't work in this room for some reason. And then before they can get out, the door is gone. It was a treasure chest in there, and they set it off when they opened the treasure chest. Now a whole bunch of rock golems come in, and they're all stronger than these motherfuckers. So they're getting absolutely mopped the floor with. The golems are just left and fucking right, right. It's like one tap, 1 to 2 taps, and they're done. So they're getting beat up, and then the one girl who was like, I guess like the closest with Kirito in the sense, ends up looking at him as she's dying, and she says, "Thank you. I'm sorry." And then dies, bro. Fucking dies. Like, I mean, and it's not like a death like like you would regularly expect. Like, it's not just her body just, you feel me? No. I mean, when they die, their game particles fucking dissolve and disappear, and they go into the air. They fucking evaporate. That shit is crazy to me. I don't know, bro. That's a terrifying sight, if you ask me. Kirito ends up bodying that the rest of the golems, you feel me, and is depressed as fuck. Makes it out of the room. He's all sad and shit. He's blaming himself because he concealed his level and kept it from them. And he could have helped them if he could have warned them. And then next thing you know, we see right after that, we literally see, bro, the dude who didn't go. He comes back. He's having a talk with Kirito, and he jumps off one of the platforms in the sky, and kills himself because he blamed Kirito for killing for basically killing everybody because he didn't let them know his true level and everything. So there's that. Now after this, we end up seeing Kirito looking for he's trying to revive the character, right? He's trying to revive at least one of them. So he wanted to figure out what Shorty said when she was dying. So he's like, I'm gonna revive her. He goes to revive her by, on Christmas, there's a special event, Krampus, and he has the ability to revive. He has the ability to find something to revive somebody, the item that revives people, basically, who are dying, who are dead, or some shit. So he ends up going there. He ends up seeing Klein. He's like, I need this, and then he ends up then a whole nother guild shows up, and they're boxing with Klein and them because Klein's like, you go get it. And then so Kirito goes over there. He fighting Krampus and everything. He beats him. He comes back and he's like, "Here, you take it. It only works like within like 10 minutes of the person dying or some shit. So 10 minutes of the person who's dead, it only brings them back then. So it's like, that's crazy." Or some shit like that. 10 seconds. It was a short amount of time. Basically, it was past the time frame. He couldn't use it. So he gives it to Klein. Use it if one of your people are ever dying. And then he gives it to him, and then he walks away depressed as fuck. So after that, we see him talking with the guilds. Now the guild of the Knight of the Red Blood Oaths type shit, they are like the head guild. All right, that's gonna conclude this video for now. I don't want to spoil everything. I want y'all to actually go watch it. So make sure y'all go watch it. Go watch Sword Art Online. Me personally, I'm recommending just the first season. That's up to you if you want to continue. Don't blame me. I'm just saying that's up to you if you want to continue. But other than that, man, I'll see y'all later. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, hit that post notification bell so you always know when I post. And I'll see y'all later. Peace.